What's up, peoples? Welcome to Nate's Journey / Life Lessons. Today, I will talk about what I learned from the Roommates podcast with the special guests of Prince Donnell and Dana Chanel. Now, guys, if you don't follow this podcast, you need to click the link below and follow the Roommates podcast. This podcast is so dope. They got so many special guests on here. And you also need to follow Prince Donnell and Dana Chanel because they literally have $1 million gems that can impact your life, relationships, finances, spirituality, you name it. So without further ado, let's get into it. I learned, what is your legacy going to be?
So we see all these players today in NBA who are able to score 50, 60, all these miraculous amounts of points, but their teams don't win championships. They may win scoring titles, they may win MVPs, they may go to all the All-Star games, but at the end of the day, what really matters is the championships.
The ring.
And you just scoring all the points and being the flashy superstar means nothing at the end of the day for your legacy.
If you're a loser still.
If you're still a loser, yeah. In order for me to win, I actually have to be a facilitator. I actually have to share the ball, because at the end of the day, if I make $500,000 a year, right? But then if 100 people make $100,000 a year and I get 20% off of that, we don't gotta do the numbers right now.
You up?
That's you're winning. And so the allure of success, the allure of being the head man on campus, the allure of being the only king in the castle has crippled us because it actually limits the growth and the potential of your legacy and the longevity of what you're doing. It's really fascinating that when you see in the book of Genesis, when God called Abraham, I believe it's in chapter 12, when God first called Abraham, when his name was Abram, he called him to leave his father's home in Canaan and to go, in Babylon, to go to the land that he promised him. And what's fascinating is that those who wanted to go with Abraham left with Abraham, and those who wanted to stay in where they were staying in with the pagan idols and whatever was going on in that period of time, they stayed. And never once did you see in that area of scripture did Abraham was arguing like, come on with me, come, even if it was his family.
He had a mission.
He had a mission that God has called him to go on. And in spite of what his family was wanting to do, in spite of where his family wanted to stay, he still went to where God has called him to go. And those who were left back, that's on you.
On you?
And so many times I see people, and what you're doing is probably the hardest. It sounds really easy, but it's probably the hardest thing to do is to say, Mom, I love you, but if you're gonna be there, you can't come with me.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I love you. You gave me life. Thank the Lord for giving you the ability to give me life. But if you're not coming where I'm coming, you can't come with me. Because like you said, I have a mission. I have a calling from God. And too many people will sacrifice. They will sacrifice the calling from God to satisfy the desires of man.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for sticking around to the very end. Be sure to check out the full podcast episode in the links below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.